Okay, in this video, we're going to kind of um, take everything that we've learned from Unit 4 and really kind of pull it all together in one, and be able to show that we can convert from different algebraic forms, whether those forms are algebraic, graphic, numeric, or verbal descriptions. We have done videos, multiple videos, on each one of these. This is the first video where we pulled all four into one. So really what we're wanting to see is that we can represent the same information um, four different ways. We can either use a t-chart, or another word that we used for this in the past was a function chart. We can make a graph. We can use our algebraic equations. Um, and you're going to see similar slopes between all these three, and we can also use verbal phrases. So we're going, in each one of these examples, they're going to give you material. Uh, um, one of them is going to have the actual information in it, and the others will have missing information. So if we look on this first column, the algebraic column, we're definitely missing this number out in front of x. What we know, though, if you remember back to our videos, that the number out in front of x is always our slope. So really, the number that we're going to plug in here is going to be our slope. In our graphic situation, they've done that for us. This is the part that's fine, that they give us. This is our given part. Um, we don't have anything that we need to solve here. Okay. Our numeric part, obviously we're missing our x and y t-chart. So we have some x values and y values to be able to plug in. And then obviously we have some blanks in our verbals as well. So the one given is our graphic. We're going to use the information that they give us in this graphic portion to be able to plug in for the rest. So let's look at this graphic portion. What do we know from this graphic portion? Well, you can see we've got some exact points right here, 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 and here. It's a graph of vocal pieces that Larissa can sing, and it compares the number of weeks versus the number of pieces learned. Notice that the number of weeks is our x value, so I'm going to go over here to our t-chart and put weeks so that we know that we're putting weeks in our x value column. And then the pieces learned, I'm going to put learned over here as our y, so we can put that. If we want to steal some points from our graph to complete our t-chart, we can. As you can see, this is an exact point. It's the point 2, 1. This is the point 4, 2. This one's the point, what is it? We've got 6, 3. And the last point over here is 8, 4. So we can use these points then to tell us 2, 1, because our x value in this first is 2, our y value is 1. X value in the second point is 4, 2. The x value is 6 in our third point, 3. And if we wanted to make one more, we could overachieve here and put 8, 4. Okay. We know that we've got to plug the slope in here. And so now that we have a t-chart, and now that we have, or we could use this graph, either works to be able to kind of show us our slope. If you want, we can use rise over run and use this chart. How many are we rising? Well, we're going up 1. And remember, when you're looking at a graph, you have to go over here and look at our scale and make sure that each interval is actually going up by 1. We notice we're going up from 1 to 2, so it is actually a rise of 1. And then we're running, or going side to side, 1, 2. We look down at our scale, they are going up by 1, so we actually are rising 1 over 2. That's our slope. Now that we know our slope, we can go over here and plug that in to our equation. So far we have finished our algebraic, our graphic was given, we finished our numeric, and now we're just left with our verbal. When we've done verbal in the past, we've always related verbal back to unit rate. And so we want to look back here and write an appropriate unit rate. So let's find our unit rate. Remember, our unit rate is just like our slope, which they're the same, which we found is 1 over 2. But let's kind of explore exactly what the 1 is and what the 2 is. Remember, unit rate, slope, rate of change, all of that, they're always y's over our x's. So let's look at what y was. Our y value here was one piece that was learned. Over our x values, which was over 2 weeks. So our unit rate then is one piece learned per 2 weeks. So if we look up here to our verbal, Larissa sings blank pieces in blank weeks. So she's going to, we can take any of our points here. She learns 2 pieces, right? Or 1 piece, excuse me, in 2 weeks. Or we could say that she learns 2 pieces in 4 weeks. Or we could say 3 pieces in 6 weeks and 4 pieces in 8 weeks. Any of those work. I'm going to use the first one and just say that she has learned 1 piece in 2 weeks. And when we simplify that down, here is our unit rate right here. Larissa sings 1 piece per week. Or excuse me, 1 piece in 2 weeks. And we need to convert that to our unit rate. I'm sorry, I completely forgot about our unit rate here. So let's convert that to our unit rate, because what's special about unit rate is we have to have a 1 on the bottom. So that means we're going to divide both by 2. When we take 1 and divide it by 2, we're going to get 0.5 pieces learned per week. So 0.5 has got to go in here. Don't get tricked like I did. So we were given 1 piece of information. We were able to convert it to 4 different pieces. Let's look at another example. In this example, this is our algebraic, remember? There is no missing parts here, so they give us the algebraic. And in fact, we're going to look at this eventually and be able to find our slope based off of this equation. Here's our graphic. Our graphic is definitely missing. It's just a blank graph. This is our, I believe we called it numeric. Yep, numeric. And then finally our verbal. And as you can see, the numeric and verbal are both missing parts. We need to find our y values here for the numeric, and we need to finish our verbal. So since algebraic this time is what they gave, we should be able to look at this number right out in front of x, and that is going to be our slope. So our slope is 1/3. Okay? We also know that the equation y equals 1/3 times our x value. So we can apply that over here. If this is our x value of -3, then y is going to equal 1/3 times -3. 1/3 times -3 equals -3/3, which is just -1. So our y value in this case is -1. We can now graph that point in our graphic. We go back 1, 2, 3, down 1, and there's our first point. Our second point would plug 0 in for x, so we're going to have y equals 1/3 times 0. Well, anything times 0 is just 0, so we now have our y value, and we can graph the point 0, 0. And then our last one is y equals 1/3 times 3. 1/3 times 3 equals 3/3, and 3 divided by 3 is just 1. So we're going to go over 3 up 1. And this is our line. So now we've finished our graphic, we finished our numeric table, and we just have our verbal left. Okay, with our verbal on this one, um, notice it's using the word input. We learn these words with functions, and input always refers to our x, and output always refers to our y. So I'm going to label those there, and we're going to kind of look at our numeric form to help us. If our input was -3 and the output then was -1, that's the same as multiplying it by 1/3. 1 over 3. Multiplying by 1/3 is also the same as dividing by some number. So I've got to try to figure out -3 divided by what is -1. 3 divided by what is +1. And the answer to that would obviously be 3, because 3 divided by 3 is 1. -3 divided by 3 is -1. And so in this case, our verbal was proving that multiplying by 1/3 is just the same as dividing by 3. Okay, I hope that helps. Go ahead and finish the rest, pack it up, and good luck.